Hi, my name is Celeste. I am here with Michelle for her project, Celestielle. Now, to get started, this is a solo project that's solely driven entirely by you. And what pushed you to create such a personal and confrontational form of Blackened Doom metal?
Well, I think in the first place, I never planned to like do everything how it turned out in the end. I just discovered my love for black metal and doom metal, and I think finding those genres just like pushed me to want to try to make music myself again because well, when I was still listening to other music, so I started listening to metal and rock quite late. So only when I was like, I think 18 years old. And I also got into black metal and doom quite late. So it was, I think, around 2023 or something like that. And yeah, I think just like discovering this genre opened a lot of doors for me when it comes to like DIYing and not having like clear structures and expectations on the music. And I think this kind of motivated me to just try to do something myself. And in the first place, I was just doing it for myself, just like trying stuff out. And actually, the first few riffs that I wrote ended up on the EP also. So that's quite special that like the material I was writing quite early on also made it yeah, until the end. And yeah, I mean, it kind of just evolved into it because I started writing the stuff and quite a lot of things were happening around me during like this phase of songwriting. I mean, I was like carrying the songs with me for I think almost two years, and I didn't involve anyone until like a year into it. And so I was just kind of doing it for myself, just trying to figure out what I'm doing and what I want to do. And so I kind of just got inspired by everything that was like happening around me, a lot of like injustice I was just witnessing. And yeah, it happened quite naturally. I never intended to be this personal and to be this political even, but like it felt like a necessity to like just include everything that I was feeling at that moment and just have an outlet to get my feelings and thoughts into something and just like make something better out of it.
Yeah, I like that. And it's interesting, I guess. Especially hearing it from someone who actually also is a bit newer to listening to metal. Like
Mhm.
I think it's just been like a couple years for me, but like I
Oh.
am someone who like if I like something a lot, I just really get into it.
Oh yeah, same
So
for me.
yeah. So it's really nice to hear that because usually a lot of people are like, well, I've been doing this since I was young, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's nice and it's refreshing to hear like newer artists
Mhm.
also just being like, I just found it like a couple years ago and I've gotten into
Mhm.
it. Um, so yeah. Now your lyrics strongly revolve around the idea of feminism, empowerment, and vengeance.
Yeah.
Do you see your project as a form of resistance, catharsis, or both?
Both, I think. I think that's also the intention of the EP, or at least how it turned out. I mean, of course, it's only a fictional kind of vengeance, and it's mostly for me, it's just like a form of processing something, just like having some kind of justice, even if it's only fictional. And it's very cathartic at the same time because with Celestielle, I kind of wanted to create a figure that is somehow me, but also apart from me, and maybe even a bit bigger and braver than I am in my day-to-day life. I think I just needed to like create a role outside of myself that is brave enough to speak up and to be kind of like a protector for Flinter people, for whoever needs it, and also maybe for myself at that moment, someone who would just be brave enough to point out injustice.
Yeah, I think that's really great and definitely empowering. Now the EP Requiem has singles like The Huntress and Eye for an Eye, definitely carrying a more ritualistic and punitive atmosphere.
Mhm.
Is there any underlying narrative that connects these releases together?
Um, well, I mean, like just for me, the whole EP is a concept EP. It's kind of like a narrative that just like flows through every song. And I kind of wrote the songs separately from each other, but at the end, I feel like was it's like beautifully wrapped up in a whole story, even though the like songs don't demand like having each other. So it kind of starts with Crucify Him, just like I feel like it's the perfect opener to just like explain what you can expect, what will come, and just like having the like only I think maybe four sentences or something in the lyrics and just like having the like thesis at the beginning for what everything will be about. Then Beyond the Curse is for me actually the most hopeful song. It is like in the end when I sing beyond the curse, beyond what's left of me, beyond the curse, beyond the tragedy, for me it's kind of like the like being hopeful after bad things happen, to continue and to keep sticking together and to just allow yourself to be hopeful. Even though the song starts quite tragic with like just explaining um how you feel, how like uh, yeah, that there's basically no hope left, but then turns into something else. And yeah, I mean with Eye for an Eye and also Requiem, it's like very clear, just like vengeful fantasies and just like putting anger into something. And with the Huntress also dreaming of like matriarchy and a lot of lyrics about witches and stuff, and just yeah, also this aspect of the unity of women. I think like for me, it's all a story from just like wanting revenge, but also taking pride in being a woman, um, being a witch, maybe to just like take the figure of the witch and like taking up space, taking a position of someone who expects justice and just like I feel like Celestielle is this for me this figure that just like walks through the whole narrative with feeling all the feelings but never giving up and just like being this like yeah, maybe just like not not human anymore, but just almost godlike figure that I just wanted to create, who is just like, yeah, trying to stand up for people who cannot do it themselves.
It's awesome. And it's definitely different because a lot of like the genre is more like full of like helplessness and stuff like that. I mean, there are
Yeah.
songs and there are bands that they do reverse it. But I kind of like that you keep some of that, but then at the end of it kind of turn it into more of like a hopeful thing at the end, especially
Hmm.
because your idea is to have more of like empowerment from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most important thing for me to like just have the opportunity to take empowerment from my songs because that's what I needed at that moment.
Now Blackened Doom metal thrives on more of like having this heaviness and slow burning tension. Now, how do you
Mhm.
use a tempo, repetition, and atmosphere to intensify the emotional impact?
That's interesting because I think like I feel like I never think about it. I just do it. I feel it's a bit more that I know what I want to feel when I'm writing. So, I mean, sometimes I have like different kinds of aspects I enjoy from other songs, specific rhythms, specific sounds, specific patterns that they use. And I think, like, at some points, I also take a lot of inspiration from other songs, but at the same time, when I start writing, it's yeah, mostly that I just try to capture a feeling, and especially with a topic that is like so intense. I mean, I didn't write the lyrics right away. They came uh, yeah, quite a bit later, but I have always been a lot into like very heavy atmospheres, and so I knew what I wanted to feel when I was writing the songs, and that's kind of, I think, the only structure that I followed.
That's great. Now to kind of jump off from you saying you wrote the lyrics later on,
Mhm.
um, because despite the rawness of the EP, there's a strong sense of like intention and structure in your compositions. Now, did you start with the riffs or the emotional concepts and then go to lyrics, or how did that kind of work for you?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I just started off by writing the riffs. So I started with the guitar and didn't know what to do with the vocals for like I think half a year or something. For a very long time, I was just thinking that I have to do like screaming and growling, and um, at that time, I didn't have the capacity to just practice it at home. I was living at a like in a student's apartment, and I just didn't have the space to learn all of it and to practice. And yeah, but at some point, I mean, the funny thing is that I at that point, I didn't know a lot of the artists that I get compared to a lot nowadays, like Mirkur, like Sylvain, also a lot of like female artists that I get compared to. I didn't know all of them, so I kind of thought that metal has to have harsh vocals, and I think like I found a couple of artists who were kind of like breaking it. I think one of them was Lingua Ignota, who's also very much into like the concept of vengeance and sexual abuse, and she has actually inspired me a lot with this topic. To just like put feelings into music. And she has also been doing clean vocals and also very much liturgic elements. And I mean, I haven't been singing in years and years, but like at some point I like it was always something that I enjoyed very much when I was a child. I think at some point I was just very discouraged because I was just like always very shameful about it. And I had a friend who was like not so nice about my singing, and she was just like, yeah, I got very discouraged for singing, and this was kind of my way to take it back as an adult. And I was just thinking, like, I love uh, church choirs. I love choirs. I just enjoy it so much. And I was just thinking, why do I not try to just like recreate something like that with clean vocals? And of course, Lingua Ignota has inspired me a lot in this like kind of vocal style. And I just started improvising and just layering it. And actually, I've like almost all of my lyrics are mostly improvised. Like I make some additions later on, but like the melody lines and like the main character of the lyrics is actually something that I just improvised during recording sessions. And yeah, I guess that is kind of how it came together.
That's great. Yeah. No, because usually I know it depends, but I know usually it's mostly like lyrics and then going from there, or even it's like a
Mhm.
mix. So that's really
Yeah.
interesting hearing like the back story of
Yeah.
that.
And I actually didn't have any drums on it. Up until I think 1.5 years later. So it was all just like guitar, bass, and vocals for a very long time because I don't play drums myself, and I had
Mhm.
to find a friend who kind of wanted to hop onto the project and yeah, the drums for me. So that also changed the character of the songs quite a bit. I mean, I did it all with him on remote, so like nothing happened without like out of my control. So I also told him a lot about what I want to have there. But yeah, it's so interesting that like this has yeah, the songs themselves made like such a progress, and they developed their own character.
That's great. Now, I guess as a woman in extreme metal, especially with the subgenres that you're focusing on, have
Mhm.
you had any motivations or challenges that have shaped your artistic path at all?
Well, from motivations, I think it's mostly other women in metal that I just adore that open a lot of doors for other women to be part of the scene and to speak up. Also, outside of the genre, artists like Delilah Bonn who really speak out for queer people, for women, and just stand up like for rights, being very political. Um, Inspired me quite a lot because I believe that music and art cannot be not political, and everything you do, like how you live your life, everything is always political. Some people might not agree, but that's just like how I feel about it. And yeah, so oh shit, now I forgot what I wanted to say in the first place. Um, yeah, no, right, my motivation. So I feel like I had to point out injustice that was happening around me. I think that was like kind of the most important, and I want other people to feel less alone because I feel like when people, especially women, experience injustice, we feel very alone, even though injustice happens all the time. And I just think that it's the most important to know that you're not alone and kind of allow yourself to be brave about it, even though the system is really fucked up and the system doesn't support you if you're not treated well. Um, but yeah, I mean, challenges, of course, it's always difficult. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I'm very lucky that most of my friends, also my ma male friends, have always supported me, always believed in me. So I had quite a good foundation with this one. But you hear stuff every day. I mean, I have been doing like social media and guitar covers long before I started doing Celestielle. And you get sexualized a lot. And I mean, I was also quite young. I put myself in positions where I allowed myself to be sexualized, but that was never my intention. I just
Mhm.
like wanted to do it for myself. I just wanted to um, present myself however I liked it to be, and that's also how it should be. But yeah, I mean, that's quite the experience, and also just like talking to other women in the scene, how dangerous it is. I mean, just like last year at my first concert, there was like a guy who was very heavily on drugs, who started harassing a lot of people, also me at the merge. And it's crazy because you just notice that you're never safe. But like in the music scene generally, I think it was quite I was perceived quite well because I think my music just kind of went to the right people, which I really enjoy, and I hope it stays that way. Because also like there are a lot of other queer artists like Fate Femina School, also a black metal, queer black metal band. There are so many great bands out there who are speaking out for the for just good values and yeah, I think that's where I take my most of my motivation from to just like be part of a scene that I feel like aligns with my values.
Yeah. No, I think in that aspect it's definitely great. And it's good that you got lucky in that regard for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
really is.
yeah. And it's good now, especially with media, because as much as people may
Mhm.
argue with it, I feel like um it's good to have like these bands, especially female ones, being presented because I feel like a
Yeah,
lot of them back in the day they got lost in the shuffle,
absolutely.
especially when it was more male dominated back then. So
Hmm.
there's even stuff that I found that, well, just because I'm newer for it, but because that I found from it that I feel like I was like, I haven't heard of this. Like I
Yeah.
haven't heard people talk about it until now. So
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean, I'm a big fan of just being a Blackened Doom fan nowadays because it's such a privilege to have media and being able to connect with other people, being able to choose what you want to listen to, and just like having all of the information you need on all the bands. So it's very much a privilege to have so much visibility and just have access to artists you want to listen to and really choose from it.
yeah. Now regarding the emotions of your
Mhm.
music, I'm not going to go too much into it because I feel like we've discussed it quite a bit, but I guess starting from how it was kind of drawn from, do you feel like it was more like of personal experiences, or do you feel like it was like because you feel from these broader social realities that you wanted to
Mhm.
channel this into your music?
It was a bit of both. It was mostly motivated by things happening around me to people I love, and also, yeah, just like several different things that I just experienced and heard from like from other people. But I think these occasions led me to think about it in a broader sense and to recognize like the bigger problem and to really just yeah, just think about the bigger problems of patriarchy. I mean, I knew about the problem before, but like I have never like experienced this kind of injustice so close to me and so close to people I love. And that's when I really recognize how patriarchy works and works against you. And I felt so lost and just like so helpless because I knew like there's a system that's so much bigger than me, and I literally cannot do anything, even though people suffer so much from things that happen to them. Um, and for me, like the EP in general is more of a representation in general, like a societal representation, but definitely deals with experience on a much smaller scale that are representative for everything that's happening in the world.
Sure. Um, Now, I guess handling the instrumentals aside from drumming alone, it definitely gives you more of like full control. Now, how
Mhm.
does this independence affect your creative freedom and sound identity?
Well, I think that was kind of the most important thing for me because I felt like I needed to do something that was entirely me. I feel like, especially as a woman, it's hard to like really find your own identity. I feel like society has so much expectations of you and what you should like and what you should not like. And I felt like I just always took a lot of interest from other people, which is great. But like with this project, I just really wanted to see what's the core of me. What is it that I create if no one else and no other opinion is involved? And that's something that was like so empowering to me, just like creating something where I know I did it by myself. I think this was like the most self-empowering process I ever had in my life, which was so important to me to just like gain a lot of self-confidence from it, to know that I can do this by myself. And I mean, I did most of it by myself. Of course, you cannot do everything. There are some parts you will always need help with. I mean, some people, of course, do all of it alone, which I find quite impressive, but I think I was fine with having to give like some kind of work to other people. But yeah, just knowing that like everything that I created is like came from my mind, even though with and the master, just like giving very precise expectations of how I wanted to turn out, just knowing that like I have the upper hand and it will turn out how I want it to turn out was just very, very, very empowering. And I feel like this was quite of an experience for me.
That's awesome to hear. And that's really good that you were able to find that through this.
Yeah.
Um, Now, your project is currently independent. Do you feel that remaining unsigned was more of like a deliberate choice aligned with your message, or do you feel like you're open to the right label collaboration?
Well, it definitely depends. I feel like I really value my independence, just because it takes off a lot of pressure to just like do everything when I want to do it on my own time, and also in a way that I enjoy it, to have like no expectations. I mean, of course, like after you drop your first EP, there are expectations, of course, but just like doing everything in my own capacity, which is also quite important because I'm currently abroad and I'm living in Norway and don't have any access to instruments at all. So kind of a forced break, but like I think that's also important to like just have some time to get inspired again. Um, but I mean, if there was a label that would I would align with like so much, and I would still have my absolute yeah, freedom in like writing my songs as I want them to be. It would definitely be like considerable for me. It's like not a no-go, but I'm quite happy the way it is now.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Aligning that more with your message and having that independence. Um,
Mhm.
Now as a final question here,
Yeah.
definitely looking ahead, aside from your forced break,
Mhm.
how do you envision your project evolving, especially after Requiem?
That is actually something I'm currently thinking about a lot because I'm still not sure where the project will head. Because I feel like Requiem was such a strong, closed off concept in itself that it is quite hard to imagine which in which direction it might lead. Um, I f- I feel like I don't have any clear visions at the moment, besides from that I always wanted to come from my heart and I always wanted to be about something that um that I don't know, I just align with, and something that is just me in my core, because that's how Requiem found its way into the world, and it was so natural and just so honest. And I feel like honesty is something that I want to keep up. But otherwise, I'm very open. I'm very open in like how in what way the project will evolve. But like most definitely, I want to keep a lot of the Blackened Doom elements. That's clear for me because it's just I enjoy it so much. Not only listening it, but like also just writing Blackened Doom metal is very, very fun for me. I find the joy in simplicity.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. And well, thank you so much. It was very nice speaking with
Thank
you,
you for having me.
and I definitely wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.